Hello my most amazing artist, I hope you are having an awesome day today. Welcome to the last week of our Ming Dynasty blossoms. So far we have done an amazing background using tints and shades, and we learned a really cool blow painting technique. And last week we made our symmetrical porcelain vase using some kind of design. We wanted to keep it simple and make sure that you kept it black and white because that's the signature porcelain look for the Ming Dynasty. Now today we are going to put it all together. So here in front of me I have my background ready. I have my vase. I also have some white washable glue and a little glue cup and a glue brush because that's how I like to use my glue when I'm collaging things, but you can use a glue stick or a glue bottle. You could even use tape if that's all you have. And I also have some tissue paper over here, which is pink. I have some dark pink, some mid-tone pink, and I have some lighter pink so that I have some option. If you don't have tissue paper, then you could just use pink construction paper. If you don't have pink construction paper, then you could just take a white piece of paper and color it pink using a pink crayon or a pink marker. So you have lots of options with this. I also have a messy mat under my work so I don't get any sticky glue on my table. That's everything that we are going to be using today, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my porcelain vase to my background. And we want to make sure that the neck or the top of our vase is fitting onto our branches. So for example, what I mean by that is if I put my vase up too high, then it looks like my branches are coming out of the side of my vase. We want it to look like the branches are coming out of the top of the vase. So you might have to bring your vase down a little bit lower, and it definitely can hang off of the bottom and go off the side. That's totally fine. We just want to make sure that it looks like these branches are coming out of the top of our vase, not the sides of our vase. I like this positioning for my vase, and I do have some hanging off here at the bottom, and that's totally fine, like I said. And once you find the position that you like for your vase, you're going to go ahead and glue it down. Now, half of my vase down here is not going to need glue on it, so I know I only need to put glue up at the top part because part of my vase is falling off the edge of the paper. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to flip my vase over, and I'm going to take my glue and my glue cup, and I'm going to do dot dot, not a lot, all the way around where my vase is going to be glued. And I'm just doing it on the edge. You don't really need glue in the middle because that would just be too much glue. As long as the edges are all glued down, then your paper will not fall off. So just do little dots around the edges of where your vase is going to be glued down. I know a little bit of my vase is hanging off the paper, so I do not need to put glue down at the bottom. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to position it carefully where I want it to go, and I am going to press it down. Now I like my things to be centered, so I'm going to try to make it center in the middle. And it looks like I added a little bit too much glue right there because I see it squishing out from underneath my vase. So I'm just going to take my finger and carefully wipe it away, and just wipe the extra on my messy mat because I don't want any of that sticky mess to be showing on my final artwork. And I'm gonna hold this down, and I'm gonna count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I think it looks pretty good, but I'm gonna do a wiggle test just to make sure that this vase is not going anywhere, and I'm just gonna flip it over, wiggle it a little bit, and if nothing falls off, then we are good to go. Now this is coming up a little bit, so I think I need to hold it down for a little bit longer. All right, once your vase is all nice and secured and glued on, then we are ready to start adding our cherry blossoms. And what I'm gonna do is I've already made some here, and this is a very simple and fun technique to add 3D element to your artwork. Is just take a little piece and you just crumple it up. Crumple it up to make a little ball or a little cherry blossom. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue these onto our branches. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of glue, add a little dot where I want this cherry blossom to go. And look, I barely used any because this is a very small piece of paper. And I am just going to press it down in place. And it should stick pretty well, but you might have to hold it there for a few seconds. And this adds a really beautiful three-dimensional effect to our otherwise 2D work of art. And I'm gonna use different colors of pink, but if you only have one color of pink, then that is totally fine. And sometimes what I like to do is I like to take the shade of pink or the darker pink, and I'll put that down first. So let me add a little bit of glue right here. press down the darker piece first, and then on top of that darker piece, you can add a lighter piece. So that makes our flowers look a little bit more realistic, because if you look at a real flower, there are different tones to it. So some parts are gonna be darker, some parts are gonna be lighter, and we can just add that right on top. I just added a little bit of glue to the top of my darker pink. Now I'm putting a piece of lighter pink on top. And if you have an even lighter pink, a tint of pink, you can just rip off a little piece. I'm not even using scissors, I'm just ripping these pieces up. And I'll take a little tiny piece of this super light pink and I can put that on top. So then your flowers have 3 layers instead of 2, and they look even more realistic. And this is a good chance to have a variety of different flowers. So maybe some of your flowers have 1 layer, maybe some have 2, some have 3. If we look at a real cherry blossom tree, not all the flowers are always blossomed. Some are still in their bud form, which means they haven't opened up yet. So maybe you have a few cherry buds instead of cherry blossoms on your plant. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go ahead and add some more cherry blossoms or even some buds to my tree here, my plant, and then I'll be right back to show you what mine looks like. Adding all of my cherry blossoms that I want to, and I still have a lot of tissue paper left over, so you're really not going to need a lot of pink tissue paper or just pink colored paper. You only need a little bit because we don't want to add too many flowers up here at the top, because then we will cover up our beautiful branching lines that we did a couple weeks ago. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up here. We want a good amount, but don't put too many to where we can't see our background and our branches. Also, while I was doing this, I was thinking that maybe while you're doing this, you might ball it up a little bit too much into a teeny tiny ball. We don't want it to be a teeny tiny ball like this. We want it to be open a little bit like a real flower. So what I do is I just grab it by the middle and I kind of fluff it out a little bit, and then it makes a really beautiful flower shape. So make sure you are not crumbling yours up into a tiny little ball like this and then gluing it on, because then it just looks like a balled up piece of paper on your cherry blossom tree, and that's not what we're going for. So try to fluff it out, bring the petals out a little bit so it looks like a real beautiful flower. And that is it for our beautiful Ming Dynasty blossoms. I hope you guys had a lot of fun during this project and learning a lot of new techniques. I cannot wait to see how your final artwork turns out. I know it's going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.